Hey, what's up again, YouTube? I guess now it's time for me to make another video. This episode, if you can read the title, is about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, for some reason, again, I've seen every episode, definitely a bunch of them multiple times. So I'm definitely aware of the series and how it's been played out and how it's been played out since 2005. And I know mainly Charlie's big love interest for the past 12 seasons now has been the waitress, and he finally got her, he finally banged her at the season 12 finale, which was full of a good amount of cliffhangers at the end of it. Her possibly being pregnant with Charlie's baby being one of them. As well as Dennis leaving, and that's kind of why I've been waiting so long to do this video, is that way nobody can say that I spoiled it, because it's been out for 5 weeks now. There's Hulu, there's multiple websites, there's reruns even, so if people feel that I have to feel the need to say spoiler alert for anything I've just said, or I guess even my opinion for the rest of the video, for a episode that happened, again, 5 weeks ago today, then I guess that's on me. So I guess delayed spoiler alert and early spoiler alert for, I guess, anything else. But basically, again, with leaning towards the title of this video, well, just thinking back on how season 3 the gang takes hostage, and I'm aware the topic that I'm about to touch on is basically taboo for a lot of the fans of the show, mainly because this show is a show that kind of breaks the normity and parodies other sitcoms out there, and that's probably why it's been able to stay on top for so long, or at least have been able to make it 12 seasons in, almost 13, 14 now, and still be considered to be at the top of the game, if not just as good as they were when they started, if not better. And aware that fans of any series are afraid of any shows that delve into the normal atmosphere, the normal tropes of most TV sitcoms, let alone if a show like this does it, it kind of jumps the shark. Look, I know how a lot of people were still on the fence about them finally making Matt come out as gay in the hero hate crime episode, and how for the longest time, if not all, all the 12 seasons leading up to this, him being closeted was part of the joke, and now it's no longer a joke anymore. Now he's not closeted, but now they're able to joke about him being openly gay now, and that just opens a whole new world of things, which is why they did it in the first place. So the show's definitely not afraid of going out and doing things, because they know that it'll better the show. They definitely have a dedication to the show, and I'm not saying they're going to go this route or not, but again, if you look, if you just kind of watch the series and you see the gang members, a good example, in my opinion, would be the gang misses the boat, to where you have Dennis, Mac, and Frank going off and doing their own things, and then you have Charlie and Dee just kind of hanging out, getting along together, just, I guess, somewhat apologizing for everything they did to one another and the reasons why they've done it. And just kind of how they've hit it off that whole episode, to the point that they possibly, if not, it's even hinted in season 12's finale that they did actually bang in that episode. And then I started touching on this earlier, but going to the episode all the way early on in season 3, the gang gets held hostage by the Poyles. There's a heat of the moment kiss the two have. Basically, if you haven't already figured it out, I guess you could say I'm a fan of the possible or not possible Charlie and Dee relationship. And I'm not saying I'm against the waitress and all that. I love the humor in that, and I'm willing to see what's going to happen with season 13 with her character, because it seems like she's definitely going to have a more bigger role in this upcoming season, based on how last season ended. Basically with season 12, they left a whole lot of questions for us viewers to wonder, especially since hours before the episode aired, they had announced that Glenn Halladrin might be leaving the show for a season or two, or therefore maybe even the rest of the series, in exchange for another show that he might be getting on NBC. And then next you know, like 5 hours after that announcement happened, the show ended with the cliffhanger of him possibly leaving the gang, leaving Philadelphia to go to North Dakota. Also with that, you had the season literally going out with a bang, and with them blowing up the rocket launcher rocket at the Land Rover, with a lot of people somewhat making the joke that maybe Dennis was in the car at the time. And you also had the cliffhanger again with Charlie and the waitress. Like, he finally, I guess, got to bang her after all these years. And now he's starting to seem like he's getting unattracted to her. Like, he's finally seeing that she's a bitch and all that. And he almost doesn't want anything to do with her. Which that means if she actually is pregnant now with his kid, unless something happens like a miscarriage, unfortunately like a stillborn, or just something that just doesn't happen with this baby, or I don't know, it just leads you, that alone just asks a series of questions of what's going to happen with her character, Charlie's character now. Again, we've seen in Hero of Hate Crime, they're not afraid to take things to the next level, and this could be another thing that they're doing, especially with the absence of Dennis and how they're going to add that into the show. And if they're going to try to stick to a 5-man group, who's going to be the replacement? We saw a lot of Cricket last season, and we saw a lot of him getting along and being more accepted of the gang, and kind of vice versa, or at least a little better than how we've seen him in previous seasons. But honestly, like, I don't know, I'm kind of veering away, but part of the reason why I'm bringing on a lot of things about season 12's ending is because it's the first season that has had cliffhanger like this, and all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the fact that they said, the announcement that they did prior to the finale, and the fact that they said that season 13 is going to have a longer hiatus break between the end of season 12 and the beginning of season 13. And it just makes you realize that they intentionally left all these cliffhangers just to make us wonder for like a year or how long more. I mean, an example, like another FXX show is Archer. Like, last season, season 7 ended in April. And now this season isn't beginning until April. So they literally waited a whole 12-month period before actually doing the next season. And will this show do the same thing? Like back in season 9's finale, which was in November. Next, the season 10 opening premiere wasn't until January of 2015, like 14 months after the finale of season 9. But to get back on topic, and that, I guess everything was just kind of to explain my reasons for this. But we've definitely seen in the series throughout Charlie and Dee's, I guess, relationship, if you want to call that, at least bond, if anything, be definitely one of the closer ones of the series. You definitely see them get along a little better than one another than most of the other members of the gang. I guess next would be either Frank or Charlie, or Mac or Dennis. I'm not going to say there's chemistry between them, but there's like I said, there's definitely a bond there. Like throughout multiple seasons, like them staking out the lawyer, her helping him stake out the waitress at some point, the heat of the moments that I just mentioned earlier. And another thing that got my interest, that made me want to do this video in the first place, was all the way back in the season 8 episode. I mean, the season 12 episode 8. The gang tends the bar, which was a Valentine's Day episode, and pretty much all of Dee's subplot was her getting upset that Charlie didn't return a Valentine's gift card or gift to her after she wrote him a card and everything. And she gets obviously really upset as the episode progresses. Something that, again, I'm well aware that maybe I'm thinking way too much on this. I'm probably going to get kicked off the group that I'm in for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for even mentioning this, because it just seems like major taboo that shouldn't be mentioned. It's like saying the word Voldemort. But at one point when they're in the office together with just the two of them, she mentioned something that she didn't mention to anybody else prior to that, and that is that she also gave him a box of chocolate. Prior to that, she only told Dennis and Frank that she only gave him a card. And then she started bringing up the chocolates thing. And then you have her make him sing her a song. And you could tell that he made it off the bat. Like, you could tell he just made it all, right then and there. And then for him to give the cover up that this was a song that he planned for the waitress, when I even tried rewatching the episode to make sure, okay, because sometimes in most It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episodes, you kind of have to rewatch them to kind of see everything that you missed the first time. And I tried rewatching that, the whole episode obviously, but that scene in particular, just to see if there was any hints that maybe he actually did write this for the waitress, and that he just edited it out 4D, and I didn't see anything that hinted that at all. If anything, I just saw what I saw the first time, and that he made it on the fly. And then I guess to have, I don't know. And then in the season 12 finale, where she has to sleep on the couch, and then he decides to sleep on the couch with her, she could have easily gone somewhere else. She could have easily gone on the floor, pushed him off, and put him on the floor. But instead, it's implied that she decided to stay on the couch with him sleeping there, with her even trying to sleep. Granted, they didn't bang or anything like that, but she still was willing to sleep on the couch, even though he was right there next to her. It just, I don't know. Again, I'm well aware that I'm thinking way too much about this, but enough for me to feel like I need to make a video about it. But it just seems like, and not only that, the fact that he even went to her apartment. Like, he could have easily gone to Mac and Dennis, despite what situation they were going through. Or, I don't know, it just seemed like out of everybody he chose to go to get away from the waitress, he went to Dee's apartment, knowing that, up until he went there and found out Frank was there, knowing that she was the only person at the apartment. So it kind of seems like he went to her for comfort about him realizing how bitchy of a person the waitress actually is. And I don't know, it just makes me wonder, is that one of the, I guess, cliffhangers or whatnot for season 13? Like, are we, if the waitress is going to be involved in the story arc for season 13, what will this mean for, I guess, Charlie and Dee, if there actually is a Charlie and Dee, which I think there is. And honestly, most of a good portion of people I've talked to that watch the show like I do, when the two of us or when the group of us are just talking about each other, and I bring this subject up, nobody bashes me nor disagrees with me when I bring this up. So I can't be the only one that thinks that there is actually a relationship between these two characters. And again, that's kind of basically my whole reason for this video. Is season 13 or season 14 going to evolve from that? Like, are we actually going to see more Charlie and Dee moments? Like, is that going to be like a love triangle thing? Like, and with some, and I know people are going to say like, no, that's just like any other series out there, and that's just going to ruin the show. Well, keep in mind, we just had a 12-season long running gag of a closeted gay guy finally come out. And for some reason, I saw a lot of positive reception to that, both on the media and in the fan base. So they just ended, most series would be ridiculed if they did something that long and just ended it right then and there. But the way they did it and the way they're doing it, afterwards, shows that they know what they're doing. And again, this doesn't mean that there is going to be Mac and, not Mac. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be Charlie and Dee, but that doesn't mean that there is either. But it's just one of the things that I have a question about. Because it just seems like there is some sort of, again, bond there, or maybe even chemistry between those two characters. And would we see a love triangle between them? Will we see nothing at all? And that's just one of the many questions I'm pretty sure, or at least I have for what's going to happen with season 13 whenever it premieres next year. Like, will it be this time next year when we see the season premiere? Will we be already halfway through the season by now? But anyway, that's mainly my whole video, just going on this big, I guess, rant, if you want to call it. Not really rant, just off-topic discussion of what's going to happen between those two characters in the upcoming seasons, let alone with everything else that's going on because of the way season 12 ended. And that's kind of the whole reason why I made this video. You know, I'm well aware that I might get a lot of dislikes because of this, just because of what the topic is, let alone me skipping around and just repeating the same thing over and over again. But anyway, it was on my mind for obviously 2 months now, and I felt the need to do it now because it's, you know, I felt the need to do it for a while, just kind of been procrastinating. But now that it's been 5 weeks since the finale's ended, there's no reason for me to say that I spoiled anything for anybody unless you decide to watch it on Netflix. But if that's the case, then I guess I apologize for that, but I don't know. There's I don't know, dead air at that point. There's really nothing else I can say to that. I guess I apologize if I spoiled anything for you. For anybody that hasn't seen season 12 yet, definitely one of the best, if not the best seasons I've seen. And again, that's something I've seen all of Facebook and the media say. I mean, even the opening, even the series in premiere, The Game Turns Black, which got a lot of negative, like mixed and negative reviews now. I'm either A, not hearing about it so much, or everybody's saying that it wasn't as bad as they first thought. So anyway, great 12th season, even the cliffhanger, because it just leaves all these questions. It definitely shows that the writers of the show are willing to go places they haven't gone before with this show, and they end up making it for the better. And again, obviously, with everything that happened with season 12, will any of those questions that I've asked, or any questions that anybody else has asked, or any questions I haven't thought of yet, or anybody else hasn't thought of yet, what questions will be answered, what won't, and regardless of the fact, what will we see in season 13? But anyway, that's my video. Thanks for bearing through it all. I hope to still be a member of the Facebook group by the time this video is posted and uploaded. It's been on YouTube for a while. And with that being said, hope you guys have a good rest of the day, rest of the night. Thanks again for watching, and peace out.